Hey internets, it's Jake and this is Mini Terrain Domain, where today I'm going to be reviewing the new D&D character sheet portfolio. I was in a local bookstore today and I decided to pick one of these up. Retail for $9.95. Sure, you can get them cheaper online. I've seen them for as little as $6.99 in some online locations. It is definitely not a must-have. But if you're like me and you want to get everything Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, you're going to want to pick this up. So I thought we'd take a quick look inside, see what there is here, so that you can make an informed decision about whether or not this is something that you want to purchase for your table. So the first thing that stands out here is this wraparound cover of the actual portfolio, which has this awesome artwork. I have not seen who the artwork is actually from, but it's pretty stunning. It's pretty typical of some of the 5th edition artwork that's been showing up in Dungeon Plus magazine for their covers. A very unique style. I'm a very big fan of the shades of black and gray and red that you see here. So it's just, you know, it's a nice looking portfolio. This is the throwaway wraparound cover. Not really much there other than they explain what's in here. But we're going to take a look at the actual contents of this portfolio. Now the first thing you're going to see when I open this is probably my biggest complaint about this folder. And it's not really a big one. It's kind of nitpicky. It's this. The fact that these are very loose in here. If you get a little anal retentive like I do, you're not going to want your sheets getting all mixed and matched and distorted in here. I'm constantly straightening these out. That said, it's a minor grievance. So one thing that's kind of cool is particularly keeping in mind that I think this character sheet portfolio is really geared toward new players or people relatively new to the game. That's not to say that veterans can't take advantage of this, but there's a lot of really good stuff in here about what are some of the things that you can do in combat, all down this list here, with brief descriptions, things like attack, cast a spell, dash, disengage, dodge, etc. Over here, interacting with objects around you, a little quick reference, and then things you can do on your turn. And a couple of items here that you can do. Move up to your speed, take one action, communicate with speech, gestures, or both. And then there's a little area here where you can put your player name, your character name, and your DCI number. DCI number, for those that don't know, if you're part of the Wizards Play Network, Adventurers League, that kind of thing, and you're like me and you always forget what your number is or where your card is, that's a handy place to keep it. But this is a folio for character sheets for multiple characters, so I don't know why you would put your character name there. Personal preference. So basically, you have the equivalent of a mini GM screen specifically for players. Right here. Handy reference guide. Cool. So let's take a look at what's in here. I will say right off the bat that there are 24 sheets in here. So for your $10, you're getting a cool folio, and you're getting 24 character sheets. And right off the bat, you can see this is a very slight variation. I think the really only variation is these dark gray design elements. This is the classic character sheet that is in the back of the player's handbook. It's two-sided, so you've got a lot of the same kinds of information you would expect in the same places. All your skills, your personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws, features and traits, stats, weapon attacks, inventory. On the back is some additional traits, treasure, character backstory, character appearance, factions, allies and organizations, personal appearance, all that kind of stuff. Nothing new or fancy here, but they're nice, crisp, clean sheets, ready for photocopying, which it does say on the back of the package as well. They're very much encouraging that. And you get 8 of these particular character sheets in this packet. So the way they, at least in mine, the way they're distributed, 4 on each side for balance, I guess. So we're going to pull these off to the side. I'll set these over here. And then there's another one of those. And then I'm going to skip over this one for just a second, because the other thing that we have in here that goes along with that, there's 8 sheets. See, this is what I was talking about, all these loose pages. There's 8 sheets of spell sheets. Again, the standard that comes with the player's handbook. Very subtle design variations in it. Otherwise, it's what you got with your player's handbook. And there's 8 of those single-sided. And I think these are the only spell sheets. So I think the intention is that you'll always use this spell sheet for your spell casters. So now let's look at the other 2 character sheets that we have here. You've got this variation, which I believe is also available on the dnd.wizards.com site. I could be mistaken. I know it was at one time. It's very similar to the traditional sheet. But what they've done is they've combined all of your skills, your skill set, with the associated ability score. Makes it just a little bit easier to remember which attribute controls which skill set. Very minor design change, and the back appears to be the exact same as that classic sheet. And so we're going to take a look at this final sheet that comes in here. And that is, there are 8 of these as well. And I'm going to turn one upside down here so I can take a good look at it. Well, I'll turn one here so that you can take a look at it. And this is a 2-sided sheet, so we'll flip it over in a moment. This is a slightly different variation of the standard sheet in that it's enlarged. Now, one thing that I noticed, and I found kind of peculiar, but I guess it kind of makes sense, your skills are completely missing from this sheet. There's no skills anywhere on the sheet, and actually I guess I was wrong. This isn't a 2-sided sheet. So what they've done is they've enlarged all of these areas that can be difficult to find for new players. Your saving throws are here, and it looks like they have it so you just focus on the skills that you have. Now, I don't know that I agree with this, just because you're still going to use the skills that you aren't proficient in. You just have a lower score in those. So it seems a little odd that you wouldn't include those, but maybe working with your GM, you're going to minimize that kind of stuff. Your attack and spellcasting block is here, slightly larger. Race, class, and background information over here. There's a lot less space for your racial traits and your class features in this area, which I also find peculiar. But maybe that's what this box right here, I guess, is probably the most perplexing, and that's over here, is the things you should do and things you shouldn't do. There's no real explanation on what the intention of the sheet is, so I'm thinking this is a sheet that you would want to use with your GM, or maybe the GM would use for a pre-generated character to give to the player and say, look, you're going to play this class. Here's all the things that you can do. Here's what you can't do. Here's the very basic thing. Just focus on the things that you can do, that you have at your disposal. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. These 8 sheets, I'm struggling to think of a reason to use them, because it's so minimalized. But then again, if I have a new player at the table, maybe there's a benefit there that I'm just not thinking of at the moment. I really like this alternative sheet. I'm going to try using this in a couple of games that I've got coming up, and seeing how I like the feel of it. Again, it's a very subtle deviation from the original design. Overall, I would say that This is absolutely, in no uncertain terms, a what I would call just an impulse buy. If you want to have the cool artwork on the folio, if you want to have access to some fresh, clean character sheets, because you don't want to tear the ones out of the back of your book and you want something that can go in the photocopier easier, sure, go for this. I mean, all of these sheets are available online. Well, I don't know about the starter ones, but not to mention there are so many other character sheets that are available online for free, in PDF form fillable. So, I mean, that's all I can do. I can tell you what I discovered. You see what's in the package here. Your best value is coming from the folio and the information that's down here. I'm probably going to use this to keep actual characters in and not these blank sheets, because I've got stacks of printed sheets that I've run off of the copier. And I like a good filled character sheet. You know, this is in the campaign I'm in over on the RPG Construct. This is my character sheet. It's a mess. I spilled coffee on it as we've been leveling up, and I'm keeping notes throughout the campaign. I like to run my games or playing my games this way. So if you're visceral and you want these character sheets before you so that you can destroy them with your pencil and eraser, I say go for it. So there you have it. The D&D 5th edition character sheet folio, as reviewed here on Mini Terrain Domain. I'm going to give it 3 skulls out of 5. Do with that what you will. Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jake. This has been Mini Terrain Domain. Imagine, build, play, MTD.